at McWhorter Stadium. There's a look at the Eagles starter. We highlight the catcher, 23-game road trip.
Great job that time, Bob. Finds the Tigers very much in the thick of things.
So Emma Jackson to lead things off for the Eagles, and the first pitch of the game is in there for a strike. We are underway. Yeah, I spoke with Coach about Reese, and he's so thrilled with the way she's come on looking for win number 15 tonight. And he really talked about the maturation process within what she's done all season.
Yes, and she has gotten better as the season went on.
There's a tapper to second. Nice play by Maddie Moore, one down.
Great job that time by Moore. And she comes in very quickly, got a speedy runner, and she makes that little underhand dish to Noller. And it is worth noting that Noller is starting at first base.
And coming off of what is an ankle injuries and she sustained last week in Raleigh.
She was able to play in the Carolina game as well, but it is a entirely different batting order if she's not in it.
Absolutely. Here's Gator Robinson, the sophomore out of California. Shorts it out for the Eagles. Basing her head in the count, no balls and a strike. And this one is served into right center field. That's a base hit. Over quickly as Pipkin. She'll hold Robinson to a one-out single.
Good job of hitting there. She just went with the pitch and kind of flipped it out there in the right center gap. Nothing anybody can do about it.
So that sets the table for Slyke, the number 3 hitter, followed by the cleanup hitter Stevens.
Now, we've only seen 2 batters, but what we have seen is they're very aggressive in the batter's box so far.
That one's popped up foul ground. Brown will give it a look, but it's out of play.
See, teams know, and of course they study film and all this, but every pitcher loves to get ahead in the count. So what does that mean? The first pitch is going to be around the plate. And so Boston College they're up there swinging the bat.
And this is a team that likes to run. 54 stolen bases. Robinson down at first base. She has 13 out of 15. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. And that one's tapped to short. Collins to first, and that's a double play.
That's tailor-made.
In the country, she'll face the right-hander Kelly Colleran in the first pitch.
And in our meeting, you made a great point. I don't think she gets enough credit for how much she's improved playing third base.
I mean, I think this, and this entire infield, and from day one, and you talked about that in the pregame, this is a different ball club. The third baseman playing in, as there's a pitch is in there for a strike. Espinoza down at third. And time called now by the third base umpire.
What we got here? I'm not sure what the call is.
It's the umpiring crew, Craig Hyde behind home plate, Donald Brown down at first base. That was Brad Newton, the third base umpire. Now he'll have a quick word. And the head coach, Amy Gavilhog, for Boston College.
You went out and asked for an explanation.
So it's now 2 balls and no strikes. So an illegal pitch is the call. 2 balls and no strikes. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes.
This is what Brown does to you. She sees pitches. She don't really settle for anything early. She's got to get what she wants if she's going to go early. She's also excellent at fouling off pitches. 3-0 right here, I think she's taken.
So Brown trying to get aboard in this bottom of the first, and she looks at a strike, 3-1.
I'm looking at something right now, partner, and I'm not sure if it's a so or not, but I'm noticing the pitcher is walking almost all the way into the catcher to get the ball after a ball that's not put in play, and the catcher's tossing it underhanded. I don't know if it's a case of a sore arm,
right,
or she got the yips.
Yeah, the yips. That's a word you don't use around a catcher, right?
Yeah, right.
Never used, but it very well could be the case. We'll find out.
I've had 2 go through it.
So Brown aboard on the leadoff walk, and here's Maddie Moore, the All-American. She takes a pitch upstairs.
And when we talk about that, what we're talking about is a mental block in a player's head that where they have trouble throwing the ball. I remember Major League second baseman Steve Sachs.
Sachs had it.
Had a very, very bad case of it. Changed his career.
Yes, it did. Mackie Sasser
had it, absolutely.
Rick Ankiel had it. It was odd, as we see there's a meeting in the circle right now with the head coach and also the right-handed pitcher. We saw Rick Ankiel was a pitcher that had it.
Yep, and they moved him to the outfielder and become an all-star.
He could throw a strike from the outfield.
Yeah, but he
could
do
not from the mound.
Not from 60 feet, 6 inches.
You know, Dale Murphy, a lot of people don't know this, he came up as a catcher.
Yes, he did.
And someone, you know, the old saying was, if you were trying to steal center field, there was a good chance he was going to throw you out. It was second base that was the issue.
He went from big disappointment to two-time MVP.
It should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, anyway. So 1 ball, no strikes on the right-handed batting, Moore. And that'll even things up at 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, it's, Coach, and you've been around this game forever, to see someone an All-American and all the hype. Maddie has answered the bell and then some.
I think so. I mean, she's among my favorite players that I've seen, and I've seen every team Clemson's had. She has gotten so much better from year 1 to now. She's matured as a player, as a person, as a leader, and she's really, this year, has had a chance to really shine. She had to share the spotlight, or actually stand out from the spotlight, for her first few years here, but now it's been her turn and she's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, even the count at 2-2. I had a chat with Coach yesterday, and we talked about Maddie. And you've worked with Coach Rittman for a number of years on different USA teams and things, and I asked him, where does she rank with the all-time greats you've ever coached? And he said right up there with the best of them.
She's a worker too. She works hard in the off season. She works hard during the season, and she has a great just joy of the game. She loves playing, and there's
the winningest coach in Clemson history, huh?
And he's also the losing coach.
Oh, is he? Okay. See, I look on the bright side.
He's all the way up to 75 losses.
He's looking for career win 225 tonight here at Clemson. By the way, this is the 300th game since the program began 6 years ago. Count grounds full on Moore.
Kidding my buddy Johnny Rittman. Yeah. That's a future Hall of Famer right there, who's got close to 1,000 wins in his career.
224 and 75. He's led his Clemson program. Stay alive, fouls it off.
And I'm going to tell you what, 225 and 70, 224 and 75 will keep a job.
And so will 974 and 426.
Yes.
There he is, right there.
Look at that. He is sneaking up on that 1,000th win.
This one is hit. Nice play by Espinoza. She takes extra bases away from Moore. She throws her out at first. What a play by the BC third baseman.
That was a fine play by the third baseman, Espinoza. She just does a super job. Watch this. This had double written all over it. Got up and had the wherewithal immediately. She knew exactly what she was going to do with that ball.
A strike over to the first and got Moore by an eyelash. Brown moves to second. And here's Noller. I mentioned she hurt her ankle in the NC State series. Sophomore first baseman. And then Coach said she hurt it before the game Saturday.
Yeah, somehow warming up or something. I don't know. But one thing that got lost 2 nights ago in all of the excitement here, Noller was robbed of a 3-run homer early in that ball game against South Carolina. I mean, that ball was out of the park.
Out of the ball. You know, and what great replays by this staff here.
Yes.
That run it. And then they had the replay showing, did the runner at second, I think it was Brockenbrough,
right.
And did she tag in time? And she did. This one is hit softly to short. And a play over to first base by Robinson for out number 2. Brown moves to third.
That was very well done.
And you got to know your runner, right?
Yeah, you do.
You can see that Noller doing all she can to get down to the bag, but just not 100%.
No, but the team is better with her in the batting order, though.
Absolutely. Here's Cintron, the freshman. Also has been outstanding in the circle for John Rittman.
And I really like her upside. I think she has got so much upside.
Absolutely. You don't see coaches. Do you see many freshmen in the cleanup spot?
Well, not as a rule. I mean, it happens.
Is it a pressure situation sometimes? It's hard for them to handle?
Either that or they just don't have the experience to do it. She's got the makeup and temperament to do it.
Hitting at 287 with 8 home runs. And that'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, you see again what you mentioned, good observation, the catcher walking out towards the circle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're dealing with here. I don't know if we're dealing with the mental block thing or we've got an arm injury.
Cintron hits it into deep right center field. That's got a chance. That ball is going to be off the wall. Great effort in right by Stevens. Cintron heads to third with an RBI triple, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
And that ball was driven to one of the deeper parts of the ballpark, the right center field gap. Gallant effort made by the right fielder, Stevens. But by the time the ball ricocheted off the wall, Cintron was well on her way to third base.
Yeah, no breeze to speak of, and I thought Stevens was going to make an outstanding catch and rob her of a scoring extra base hit. Boy, what an effort by the right fielder for BC.
Surely was.
Cintron easily into third, and the Tigers take advantage of the leadoff walk. And now here's Vieira. This is one of our favorites.
Yep. She just comes to work and does her job every day, that's all.
Having a career year.
That was Cintron's first triple of her career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many triples did you hit in your career?
How many did I hit or give up?
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
I didn't hit any. So
gave up a few?
Well,
did you wear out a path between the mound and behind third base, backing it up?
My job was to throw the ball and back up third. That was my job. Every pitch, it seemed like.
Vieira, oh, by the way, when you look at her numbers, I think the big difference is she has more walks this year already she has at any time during her career.
She's become a much more patient hitter.
This one, she drives to left field, sending Hines back on the track. She will make the catch. The Tigers get on the board first. Cintron with a 2-out RBI triple. Martinez, the designated player, she looks at a strike.
She must have missed the team meeting.
Yes.
She didn't take a swing. She's out of Beaufort, Georgia.
You know that area, right?
Oh, yeah. Clemson's got a couple of players from the Beaufort area, and have had even more.
Runs that pitch in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's only about maybe 75, 80 miles down the road in Gwinnett County, Georgia. It may not even be that.
A lot of good players in that area, huh?
Better believe it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. JoJo Hyatt was from down there. The name's failing me right now. She had a teammate she played with all the way.
Now, look, I'm going to run a name out there. It wasn't Ariel Oda, was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Good job.
Well, you got that.
Way to pick me up.
People said I don't have a good memory.
Way to pick me up.
Thank you. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Martinez does a nice job of staying alive. So just like the Eagles did in the top of the first, they get a 1-out base hit. Good look at Brian Hennessy's made his way into the booth, the communications director for the baseball team, coming over from Kingsmore Stadium to say hello. There's a pitch foul back off the screen. Yeah, I guess in about, 40 minutes, baseball plays host to Louisville.
Yeah, that's
so how do you say it? I say Louisville.
Louisville,
yeah.
Louisville.
Not Louisville.
No, Louisville.
Make sure we're on the same page.
The only educated way to say it.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got her to chase.
Yep.
2 down.
And I'll tell you what, she took her hacks, though.
She went upstairs, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She climbed the ladder, as they call it. And that ball was head high.
Vieira.
Ball was head high, and the bat was shoulder high.
There's Espinoza. Saw her make a great play in the first inning down at third. She looks at strike.
Did she ever.
Like
saved a run. Saved a run.
You saw Brooks Robinson play, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
The 0-1.
I was a mere pup.
Well, let me ask you, Mike Schmidt or Brooks Robinson?
Brooks Robinson defensively.
What did Schmidt hit, 548 career homers?
Yes, and he was a serviceable third baseman. And they're both in the Hall of Fame, but Brooks Robinson's defensive skills are still maybe like the role model for third basemen in the big leagues. He made so many plays from foul territory, it was unbelievable.
He won the 1970 basically World Series over Cincinnati with his defense.
Sure did. He was so good, even Earl Weaver didn't have nothing to gripe about. His manager.
That's saying something. They don't make him like Earl, do they?
No.
Or they did. The 1-2. Runner goes. And from her knees, Vieira throws out Hines to end the inning. And fans, just want to say this: our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts go out to those today's tragedy down in Tallahassee, Coach, Florida State. We are thinking of them as it was a tough day in Tallahassee.
It's just a horrible day. Just sad.
Runs leading off the bottom of the second. Ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. That was even things up. 1 ball, 1 strike. And what the hero that night was Lori Swan. You see that? Get the headset off.
Oh, she came in like a drive-by. Look at her.
Look at that.
She said, wait, now do it. Yeah.
They don't
Look
get
at
any
that.
better than her.
How many different angles can you get?
Yeah, Lori's everywhere. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You see her at basketball. You see her at football, baseball. In fact, she'll probably do both tonight. We saw her before the game. But like most people, they come in and they don't spend a lot of time with us. They get out as quickly as
possible. They get in and get out.
I don't blame her.
And she'll be angry that she was on television so much. She hates being on camera.
Collins drives it to right field. That ball will be run down in the gap by Stevens for out number 1.
She hit it well. Stevens got a good jump on it. Did not get quite all of it.
Now, Coach, you talked about some of the young kids getting opportunities in that outfield spot. Taylor Pipkins has really come on strong. She actually has a team-leading 7-game hitting streak, the freshman.
Yeah, she's taking advantage of an opportunity.
She had a big hit at Stanford in a game that Clemson rallied in Game 3. She takes a strike here.
And the Clemson lineup has got a slot in it tonight where 4 out of 5 hitters are rookies. Think about that. Starts in the 4-hole with Centron.
Goes all the way through the number 8 hitter, right?
Yeah, the first 3 we're going to see this inning is we've already seen Collins, but Pipkins and then Wilson, who's on deck. All 3 are rookies.
Pipkins during this 7-game hit streak, hitting at .421. She's also got a couple of homers.
Yeah, she's got a little pop in her bat.
A little pop. She's behind here, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And she's out of Cumming, Georgia. We already talked about Collins being out of Marietta, Georgia. And the young lady that is on deck is also a native of Georgia in the Marietta area. Went to North Paulding High School. Did Ava Wilson.
Stays alive, and Ava has shown. Yep. This entire crew, we just saw a good picture of Coach Rittman down at third, and the development. He talked about the development. And I guess experience as a coach, you've been there, done that. You know what these young women go through from day one they step on campus.
Well, first of all,
ball hit hard to short. Nice.
Knowing John Rittman as I do, he is an excellent teacher of the sport. He also creates a great culture to learn in.
Right.
He does everything he can to take the pressure off the players. You see there's a look at Johnny.
Because the adjustment is not just about between the white lines.
No, it's about college life. It's about living independently. It's about academics. It's about so many different things. And John and his staff do a great job of making it easier for these young people by creating just such a good culture, welcoming. It's almost like a family-oriented culture.
And the commitment by this university to do things the right way on and off the field.
Yes.
And the support that they have. Here's Ava Wilson, 1 ball, 1 strike. You talk about the academic center. They're opening up new places all over campus. In fact, right behind us here, you got
yeah.
So you've got nutritionists, you've got weight, strength, and conditioning. She did not go, Wilson.
Barty, did you know that Ava Wilson and I've only met once, but we have mutual friends.
Wow,
Ava's. Now think about that.
Well, yeah, because the odds are not real good.
No, but Ava and her family are friends with the family of Jay Mobley, who lives there in the Marietta area. And Jay was a left-handed pitcher at Kennesaw State many, many years ago, 30 years ago, when I was a rookie coach down there or sophomore coach there. And it's just funny that 30 years later there's a connection. Well, to be recognized for all the hard work.
Espinoza pops it to short. Collins has it, one away.
Yeah.
Economical pitching to this point. Right off the end of the bat.
That ball was spinning sideways.
Only 18 pitches through 2 1/3 for the right-hander. Here's Megan Scouten, the first baseman. She takes ball 1.
Keeps doing that, and dinner's early tonight.
Well, you just jinxed us.
Yeah, we'll be here now.
Which is fine. I enjoy spending time with you.
Oh, shucks.
Here's the 1-0. That was popped into center. Brockenbrough a couple steps back and now in. And there are 2 away. 3 pitches, 2 outs.
Yeah.
Someone does have dinner reservations early tonight. Next half inning, we'll meet the head coach for Boston College, Coach Amy. Cabell Hogg will join us. Here's the number 9 hitter, Case. She taps it slowly to second, and a 4-pitch top of the 3rd.
Hey, that's good work if you get it.
One nothing Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. The 3rd inning, it'll be 9-1-2 due up for Coach John Rittman. And here's Jamison Brockenbrough, who has really come on. We talked about her a little bit during our pregame.
Well,
it's like another leadoff hitter, isn't she?
Yeah, she transferred in from Tennessee. Played a lot there early in her career. Did not play hardly at all last year. And she came over here to Clemson and was stuck out there in center field replacing a Mackenzie Clark, who's, you know, is just a outstanding center fielder. But she has, as you see right there,
lines it in the left,
has come into her own.
She's going to try for 2, and she's going to make it.
Yeah, and she is very, very comfortable now being a Clemson Tiger, doing her own thing. The only question I have here now, is that going to go as a double, or is that going to go as a single and an error? I
think it should go as a double, but nonetheless, it's now a 7-game hitting streak for Jamison Brockenbrough.
And I agree with you on that. I don't know how they'll score it, but I think it's a double.
She now has 11 for her last 19 over those 6 games. On top of the order, here's Brown. She walked and scored. Brockenbrough down at second. And they're just going to give her a single and say she just advanced to second. But regardless, she's in scoring position to lead off the bottom of the 3rd. I want to continue with her. 254 she was batting, was Brockenbrough back on March the 14th, as that pitch has popped up foul. Since that time, Coach, she's now hit safely in 17 of her last 20. She's 21 of 49 during that stretch.
Yeah,
hitting over 420.
And I really think a big part of it is she's comfortable now with where she's at and what she's doing. She's got skill. There's no doubt about that.
And again, Brown will pop up the bunt. The count goes to 1-2. And I had a chat with Coach earlier in the week, and he said the same thing you just did. She's more comfortable. She's staying within herself at the plate, not trying to do too much. And she's done a nice job.
And she's refound her confidence at the plate.
So the count 1-2. Brown stays alive.
Brown very fortunate early in this at bat. She popped up 2 bunts that luckily either found the screen or found foul territory out of harm's way. But I know she's probably kicking herself.
Because you don't normally see that from her.
From her, I was
you're right, Coach. She's as fundamentally sound at the plate as you'll see in this game. She does her job. She grounds it to second. Brown retired.
And that right there is a little something you won't see in the scorebook. She got buried in the count 0-2, but she was able to have wasn't a sack out, but it was a productive out. She pulled the ball and got the runner over to third base with 1 out.
To Brockenbrough, 60 feet away. 1-0 Tigers, bottom of the 3rd. Here's Maddie Moore. Looking for RBI number 53 with a runner at 3rd. Less than 2 outs. She looks at ball 1. The other thing about Maddie, we talked about the numbers, but you also notice, as we'll talk to Coach Rittman next half inning, is that she stays patient at the plate. even in this situation, she's not over-aggressive.
Yep.
Got a good pitch there to hit and just missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike. I saw her the other night against South Carolina, watching her closely, and the fact that it was a 1-run game. You know, a lot of times hitters go out of their comfort zone. And despite the big number, she stays the.
Well, she's a veteran. I mean, now she knows to stay within herself. As I said earlier, I'm a fanboy of Maddie Moore. I mean, I think she is just an outstanding player that deserves not only ACC but national accolades.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a better second baseman. Slow roller to short. They're going to come to the plate, and safe at home plate is Brockenbrough, and she slides just underneath the tag for a 2-0 Clemson lead.
It was a great slide, and it was a great break by Brockenbrough. That's going to go as a fielder's choice and an RBI, I would guess.
Yep.
See right there, and you see Brockenbrough just takes off, and look at this slide. The only thing that was touchable was her hand. The rest of her body was out of the wingspan of the catcher. And as you see, she gets in there with no problem.
RBI number 53. Moore goes on the first pitch, and she slides in head first with career stolen base. I believe that's number 48 now for Moore.
She's the all-time leader.
All-time leader. There you have it.
And Clemson now knows that the Boston College catcher would prefer not to throw the ball anywhere.
Noller behind, no balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know if you'll see him try to take third with Moore, but with 2 outs, maybe.
No balls and 2 strikes. Big situation for the right-hander Collar in the circle. And Noller fouls it. Coach, I believe she sprained her right ankle.
Yes. Yeah. And
how tough is it to hit? It's your landing foot.
That's her plant foot. Yeah. And she does a little bit of an up and down with her swing. You watch right here, watch her front foot. So it comes off the ground.
She drives that to deep center field, and it is gone. Home run number 14 for Noller, and a 4-0 Clemson advantage.
As I was saying, a sprained ankle has absolutely nothing to do with your power. As she drove that ball straight out of center field. We'll take that sprained ankle.
We saw her robbed of a 3-run homer 2 nights ago against South Carolina, but this one to straightaway center field, 236 feet.
Bang. And there wasn't much doubt.
You know, if you're going to have a bad ankle, you might as well trot around the bases.
I tell you what.
Right?
That is very selfish of her.
That's it.
She's not having to run.
4-0 Clemson. It's a 3-run bottom of the 3rd, and here's Cintron, who drove in the game's first run back in the first when she tripled off the right center field wall for her first career triple, as Coach mentioned. There's a good look at the Tiger.
Yes. That's the main one, too. That's the boss.
We got the big one over
Number
here.
1.
Ball and no strikes. And now 2-0.
You got to wonder if frustration is setting in.
Well, the other part of that, and you mentioned this, Coach, is really 1 through 9. There's no let up in this Clemson order.
No, right now.
So where do you take a deep breath when things aren't going well?
Don't take a deep breath.
And then you look at the bench. There's a lot of talent coming off that bench. We'll see a lot of these. Some of these players are seniors. 9 seniors will be honored on Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be fun for them. That's a big time for them.
We're looking at what some of them are going to do once they leave Clemson. Many are going to get their master's degree.
Yep.
So we've got action down in the bullpen for
Gabrielle
Boston College.
Gabrielle Ogden. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Ogden, yeah, you were right on that.
Well,
3 balls and a strike. Saw Cintron play a little first base the other night as well.
Yeah. She stepped in there for Noller when she was having trouble with that ankle.
Pulls that one foul. Are you a little disappointed on that effort at third?
No, that was a veteran move.
That was a veteran move.
He had no desire whatsoever to touch that ball.
Do you leave your feet, though?
But no, not him. At his age, no.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And that one's hit hard to the third baseman, Espinoza. A strike over the first, 2 away.
Espinoza has had 2 balls hit at her, and both of them have been sharp, and she's answered the call both times.
So here's Vieira flied out to deep left her first time. You know, I love catchers.
Yeah.
And she has been so solid. She just hits that one foul to left. Came in hitting .362, a career high. She leads Clemson with 15 doubles. She's also hit 3 home runs.
And you know what else, Tony? She comes to work and does her job every day. Catchers are just unbelievable people, and pitchers really appreciate them. I'll tell you that.
And a soft liner to third. Well,
false aspersions. Clemson is still a work in progress. There's no doubt about that. They would tell you that. Every team is a work in progress. Nobody wants to stand still where they are.
Right.
But Clemson is this has been it started out, people thought it was going to be a rebuilding year. It's turned into a reloading year. And now they've worked so hard, they've got themselves now not only in the conversation for being in the NCAA regionals come playoff time, but they're almost working their way into position now to host a regional.
Boy, that would be nice. There's nothing like McWhorter Stadium.
No. Everybody that comes here compliments the staff, the crew. I was exchanging texts with Kat Osterman before the game, and she was talking about how much fun she had here the other night and what a joy it was to work with everybody here. And it is. I mean, the production staff is outstanding. All of the people, the ticket takers, everybody. It's just a wonderful place to come.
The 2-2. Jackson pops it up and foul ground. It'll be Alex Brown makes the catch. So to this point, 3 1/3 in, Basinger has faced the minimum. Only 10 batters because the hit in the second inning erased on the double play, and then we had the caught stealing in the second inning.
Yes.
So the foul pop-up begins the 4th. And now here's Gator Robinson, had a base hit in the right fielder first time.
Now, Gator Robinson is a California native, if I recall. Do they have alligators in California?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I'm
spending a lot of time out there?
Not anymore. Yeah, she's from Modesto, California.
That's a long way.
Now, how does somebody from Modesto, California get the nickname Gator? There's got to be a story there. You have to do some
research,
investigative reporting.
I agree with you. She's ahead in the count, 2-0. And now 3 balls and no strikes. So we've been told,
yes,
Southeast United States and not the left coast for the most part, and China.
They're native of the United States and China.
Right.
Now, I don't think that the young lady down at first base is a Chinese Gator.
No.
I think she is an American Gator.
Kurt Sutton giving us the information.
But how do you get from Gators found in the Southeast all the way out to Modesto? That is one misplaced Gator.
That's right. And there's a strike after the 4-pitch walk to Robinson. There's Hannah Slyke, who bounced into a 6-3 double play to end the first. With a 4-0 lead, you want to keep this young lady off the bases because Jordan Stevens, their top hitter, waits on deck.
Yeah, you want to take care of business.
Vieira gives it a look.
And
what are your thoughts on that pop-up behind home plate?
Nobody really made a good effort at it.
I saw one guy just put his hand over his head.
No.
That's not. You don't teach that, do
no,
you, as a fan?
No, our fans have become, at Clemson here, have become accustomed to letting it hit the ground before they pick it up, and that's disappointing.
Could this be 2? Second one. Collins the first, and not in time. So force out goes 4-6, 2 down.
Kept the force play intact. You see, Moore makes the play going toward the bag. There was a flip right there, but it just wasn't hit hard enough to turn a double play with a runner that went down the line as well as
Yes, like the catcher runs well.
Yeah, she does run well.
And here's Stevens, who grounded out to begin the second. She pulls that one foul. She has done it all for this team. Leads in average. Coach mentioned it in the pregame. 8 homers, driven in 30. Chance here to get her club right back in it.
Yeah, she's done about everything you can do from the offensive side.
This one's hit hard. One hop to Moore. She bobbles it and won't have a play. A nice job of Maddie staying with it, but Stevens stung that one to second.
Yes, she did. That ball was hit very, very hard. And it took a bad hop. Look at this ball come up on her.
She
See
stayed
that?
with it.
Bad hop. She might have had a chance to get the runner at first, but she felt like not taking a chance.
And there's a foul ball left side out of play by Zoe Hines. It'll go down as an infield hit.
And I agree with that, just
I do
because
too.
of the bad hop it took.
Bad hop and hit like a rocket.
Yes, it was. Now Maddie's going to tell you she should have made that play.
Yeah. All good ones do, don't they?
They do.
2 on, 2 out. And the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
She, unlike her head coach, was willing to make a tough play. And then we saw that.
We saw that.
Go.
Yeah. We're glad that between the lines
made the fake effort.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Now base runners on the diamond right now looks like it's made base singer just a little uncomfortable.
And Hines ripped a base hit to left her first time. She's ahead in the count 2-1. And a good pitch on the inner half evens it at 2-2. Coach mentioned this week when it comes to Reese, it's in and out, up and down.
In and out, up and down. Yep. She pitches to contact.
And that was pulled down the line. That is a fair ball. 1 run will score. They're going to send Stevens to the plate. Here comes the throw, not in time, and it's a 2-run double by Zoe Hines as she's cut the margin in half. It's 4-2.
There was nothing cheap about that either. It was only a question if the ball was going to stay fair when it was hit. It was tailing, but just like that.
Boy, she jumped on that pitch.
Yes, she did.
Wilson got to it in a hurry, Coach. But
yes, she did. She did everything she could.
So now here's Martinez. Struck out to end the second. It's a 4-2 Clemson lead. Austin Collins sitting their 6th batter to the plate in the 4th inning after we mentioned coming into this frame. And Basinger had faced the minimum through 3, only 9 batters. Slow roller to third. Brown gobbles it up, takes care of Martinez. But not before the damage is done. About the tragedy on that campus today.
Yes.
They were supposed to host Georgia Tech this weekend, but those events have been canceled, and rightfully so.
Everybody understands that, and everybody's heart
Absolutely.
is with the people in Tallahassee.
It's just unthinkable.
Oh.
1 ball and no strikes to Collins. And that'll make it 2 balls and no strikes. You mentioned a bounce back inning. BC able to get right back in it after the Tigers took a 4-0 lead. Now the Tigers need to answer, right?
Yeah, they do.
The coach coming out in you.
Absolutely. They need to answer it.
So Collins hit it well her first time, flied to right. And she stays patient, and the count runs to 3 balls and no strikes.
Yep.
Tuesday night will be a night that at some point in her life she'll share that video with friends and family that and maybe someday if she has children down the road.
Listen,
this is what your mom did. 3 and 1.
It ain't gonna be every once in a while she shows it.
She's gonna
have that on a loop.
On a loop
in her house on a monitor.
And it wasn't just any team. It was a nationally ranked rival.
Yeah. Get in there and watch that.
This is how you do it.
Oh.
She's aboard to lead off the Clemson 4th. Good start for John Rittman's crew.
Looks like Coach Rittman's going to go to his bench and get a runner in.
All right, so who do you think he's going to go with?
Oh, it's got to be Kennedy. Ariel.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean, and knowing what John knows, knowing what we know,
Right.
I think Ariel's running on the first pitch. And of course, what I'm talking about is what we've noticed regarding the catcher's arm.
She bluffs going as Pipkin swings through the first offering.
There we go. She didn't break on that one. So,
but we've noticed the catcher at times having
very hesitant.
That's a good way of putting it.
And we don't know exactly why, but it's there.
Pulled foul. And look, catchers, some of them that go through having what you call the yips, throwing it back to the pitcher, don't necessarily have that issue throwing to bases.
That's correct.
It's an odd thing. So she very well could be much better throwing to second. And I'm not saying she has the yips throwing back to the pitcher. We don't know.
We don't know. Could be a sore shoulder.
That's right.
Easy for me to say.
Pipkins hits it to right. And Stevens will make the play for out number one. Nice job by Colleran in the circle for the Eagles. Is that the leadoff walk, comes back and gets the red-hot hitting Taylor Pipkins for out number one. And now here's Wilson, a strikeout victim her first time.
Her first at bat, I alluded to us having a mutual friend. Between innings, I looked down, and Jay Mobley is here with her father tonight. He was waving like a maniac. Of course, he is a maniac, but that's another story.
That explains it. One ball, no strikes. And this one is fouled off the netting behind home plate. Wilson has shown flashes, Coach.
Yes, she has. She's got great upside.
Absolutely.
Again, this is the four out of five freshmen.
You got a freshman with 6 homers and 21 driven in. She's overshadowed because there's so many big numbers in this lineup. This one is popped up a mile high. It'll be the third baseman who comes in and makes the catch. That's Espinoza in foul ground.
That is absolutely how that should be done. Because that ball is tailing away from a catcher. And if the third baseman can come in and make that play, she is to take charge and to do that. So that was outstanding to see right there.
Well, and we talked to Coach Amy Cavalhog with BC, and she talked about their defense and why they've played so many close games. And you've seen outstanding defense tonight by this BC ball club.
And I am very surprised that Clemson has not attempted to steal a base here.
Particularly with
you make a pinch runner, you think you're putting it in for something.
Well, and if she gets thrown out here, you've got one of the hottest hitters and another leadoff hitter in Brockenbrough to start the fifth.
Right.
She hits one in the left center field, but there to make the catch is the center fielder, Callie Case.
Uh-oh.
So a nice job after the leadoff walk, retiring the
ERA. She's 7-2. She's worked 51 innings.
So Cintron in the circle, the right-hander will face the bottom of the order for BC, and the first pitch is lined into center field. So Espinoza gets things started, base hit to center, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Great job that time by Brockenbrough getting over there, cutting that ball off and holding her to a single.
So we saw the aggressiveness early on by the Eagles, and they jump on the first pitch. Coach Cintron in the circle, her last 12 appearances, over 30 in the third innings, and allowed only 22 hits. She's 4-0 with a 1.38 ERA during that span. And there's a bunt. Cintron, Maddie Moore, sacrifice goes 1-4, one away.
Good job on everybody's part right there. Cintron fielder position, but the bunt was outstanding. You see this is nothing fancy, it's just a good bunt. Cintron had no trouble fielding it, but the runner is now down there in scoring position.
So here's Callie Case, and like she did her first at bat, hits it to second. Moore throws her out. 2 down, runner at third. So we've seen 3 pitches.
Yep.
So here's Emma Jackson, 0-for-2, has bounced out and popped to third.
Let's see if she'll bunt the ball with 2 outs. It wouldn't be a bad play right here.
And she looks at a strike on the outside corner.
What a beautiful night.
It is. It really is. I was thinking that this afternoon before I headed to the ballpark. What a beautiful day here in Clemson, South Carolina. The 0-1. And that's strike 2 called. Another good crowd here at McWhorter Stadium. And off in the distance, Death Valley Football Stadium, the 0-2. It's tying away. You really like her upside. Talk about Cintron coaching the circle as well.
In the circle, in the dugout, in the batter's box, she's got a chance to be a real leader for this program.
The 1-2. Vieira, nice job behind the plate. What I like, you talked about this, and I didn't think about it until you mentioned it, was the way she handles herself.
Yes.
It's her demeanor. It's her body language.
Carries herself. Yeah. Like a leader.
Yep. And you don't see many rookies that have that ability. This one's flied to left field. Wilson in foul ground has it. And Cintron works around a leadoff base hit. Alex Brown takes a strike leading off the 5th. BC has out-hit Clemson 5-3, but the Tigers lead at 4-2. BC. Brown walked and scored back in the 1st. And she swings and lofts this one to center. Case is there, 1 down.
Got under that one just a little bit.
Colleran has been, other than coach the triple and really the home run, you know, she's only given up 3 hits. The ringing triple by Cintron, it drove in a run in the 1st and a 2-run homer. She's been really good.
Right. She was throwing the ball very well, but that's not completely surprising.
Moore fouls it right side out of play.
But she has done a lot of work for Boston College this season. She's got 113 innings pitched, 10-10 record.
You mentioned getting better each season, Coach. That's remarkable. Look at Moore's numbers on the screen.
Yeah. What Maddie Moore's done is, I mean, that's the way you draw it up. You hope a player comes in at one level and she leaves at a vastly different one. And just look at that, the numbers.
This is amazing. This really is.
No commentary necessary.
And she hits this one to center. Case will have another chance. And they're 2 away. You know, after hitting 190 as she did as a freshman, how tough is it? How tough would it be for a coach to tell her, hey, listen, I know you hit 190, but you can do it on this level?
Just stay. That's what Rittman is very good at, is just getting them to stay the course. I mean, he's coached Olympians. He knows what to do.
Here's Noller. She hits it hard and in the right field for a base hit. And it's a 2-hit night for Julian right now. She's the difference in this game. She hit a 2-run homer her last at bat.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's going to get a pinch runner.
Yeah. That's going to, yeah, that's.
That ankle's still just a little tender.
But you see why she's in the lineup. Even a one-legged, if you will, Noller is able to hit the ball out the ballpark, drive one in the right field. We saw her Tuesday night get robbed of a 3-run homer. She also had an infield hit.
Yep.
She will be lifted for the pinch runner, and that'll be Haley Whitesides.
Yep. Whitesides has been a role player, has done a lot of pinch hitting for the Tigers this year. The junior.
And here's Cintron, who drove in the game's 1st run with a triple back in the 1st. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, they are underway, by the way. Doug Kingsmore Stadium behind us, the baseball team. Clemson baseball hosting Louisville for 3 this weekend. 2 balls and no strikes. Do you ever, when you leave here, do you ever head over to baseball?
Oh, yeah, I peek in every once in a while. Sure.
Now, did you play baseball growing up? You did. You were a pitcher.
Yeah,
backed up third base. That's right.
They call it baseball, what I did, but I don't think it's the same sport that other people played. But I love baseball. The bat and ball sports are been a passion of my life, and even though I was not a very good baseball player.
Now, how about Johnny Ballgame?
Oh, now Johnny Ballgame.
Oh,
yeah, but he grew up in New Mexico, so it's not really a fair comparison. I was down in a real place.
Oh.
I was in Georgia where they play baseball.
And Cintron looks at a strike.
And out where Johnny was, they made bats out of cactus. And no, John Rippman was a very fine player. I was a mediocre pitcher. I did play Division III, and I played at that level.
And you did well at it, right?
No, I didn't say that. I was very fortunate to be on the club. But I will say this, my being a member of that team helped me groom my craft, and I didn't even know it because I was a relief pitcher, so I spent a lot of time not playing. But I had a chance to study players and figure out why they were good.
This is driven to deep left center field, and it is gone.
How about that? She went down and got that thing and just drove it out. That's something that Clemson needed.
Cintron with home run number 9. She's driven in 3 tonight, and it's now 6-2 Tigers.
And that was all of a sudden. I mean, Clemson had been kind of lulled to sleep. The Noller single, and now that. You see how far down she went? Got that?
She went down and got it. Big time.
Hit a ball. That was not even in the strike zone. But man, how good did that swing look on that pitch?
Well, she's so strong, and with her homers,
yes,
are usually tape measure shots.
Talk about a bad ball hitter.
Yes,
that was a bad ball, and she was the hitter.
Now, what do you mean by that for folks listening and watching at home by a bad ball hitter?
It means somebody who can attack a ball even when it's out of the zone.
Vladimir Guerrero.
Yes, oh, boy.
Was he good at it? Here's Vieira. Ball 1. So the Tigers answer now. It's 6-2.
His kid's pretty good.
His kid, yeah. His son is a lot like him. His son homered last night in the upper deck. There it is. Bring it on. That's their slogan.
Yep.
So the 3-2 pitch, Cintron sends it out. And now Vieira hits one to deep center, but Case has room. And she puts it away. But Macy Cintron, a 2 master's degree at North Greenville. Maddie Moore's going to work for the professional baseball team, the Greenville Drive.
How about that?
And many others.
If they're not careful, she'll be playing second base for them.
Yeah. And we saw Vieira. She's going to pursue a graduate degree while serving as the GA for Arizona State softball. So pitch is in there. No balls and 2 strikes. So Cintron hits the big 2-run homer. She's back in the circle. Facing Gator Robinson, who's been aboard twice with the base hit and a walk. Cintron ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. On 1 hop, Brown fields and throws. Coach, I was talking to John earlier in the week about Brown at third. He said we talked to her about just making the routine play.
And she's very comfortable with that. She doesn't feel like she's got to make the great play. We used to tell our players all the time, if you make all of the plays that you're supposed to make, the great plays will happen every now and then.
Gotcha. There's off-speed pitch that misses to Slike, who has bounced into a double play, reached on a fielder's choice and scored.
Yes.
This one is hit into center. Brockenbrough over in the left center, 2 down. Yeah, Coach mentioned it. You know, they got Alex to feel comfortable. They told her, you know, they talked to her about, you know, teaching her to play the short game. How important is it for your third baseman to be able to play that short game?
Oh, you got to. I mean, in the game of softball, I mean, softball is baseball played inside a pinball machine, and the angles and everything. The bunt is so much more in play in softball than it is baseball because it's only 60 feet worth of bases.
Stevens red hot. And she's 1 for 2 tonight.
Yep, and this is, like I said, this is a dangerous person right here. She's got a 161 slugging percentage.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is the last 4 games.
And she's hitting close to 800 during that time.
Yeah.
She's ahead in the count here, 2-1. So if you want to face her at a 4-run game, it's with 2 outs and the bases.
And nobody on,
yeah,
yes.
What you want.
And hopefully you're facing her for the last time.
Pitch misses away. 3 balls and a strike.
Be careful here.
Citron, the freshman, has driven in 3 tonight. And this one is hit to deep center, but there is room for Brockenbrough. A step onto the track. And she corrals it. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 6th.
College to lead things off.
You know, we mentioned a couple of homers on Tuesday, including the game winner, and the young lady that came up with the softball.
Oh, yeah. She was the one that got the game winner. And she also got to come down and meet her and get her autograph.
Like that, huh?
Yeah.
Collins hits it foul. So that young lady, though, we talk about college, will have that on a loop.
Oh, yeah.
That young lady will never forget that. And that's what it's all about. It's memories.
Yes.
Collins has walked and flied out. And she's been outstanding at shortstop. The job for BC, the right-hander on the mound. Kelly Colleran is to keep it at a 4-run deficit, but she falls behind here, 2 balls and a strike. Other than a couple of mistakes, one to Noller, and even the Citron 2-run homer, Coach, wasn't a mistake.
Oh, it was not in the zone.
It was really a good pitcher's pitch. And even the count 2-2. Sometimes you got to tip your cap to the hitters.
Sometimes the hitter wins. You know, most of the time the pitcher wins.
Yeah.
But sometimes the hitter wins.
She's only allowed 5 hits. But 2 of those have been homers. Meant 4 runs. There's a fly ball to left. Hines has it measured, 1 away. Tigers with 5 hits, couple of singles, a triple, and 2 2-run homers. And now here's Pipkins, who's trying to, a young freshman trying to extend a modest 7-game hit streak. She's 0 for 2. Just grounded out and flied to right. Yeah, but I like her upside as well. You see the average over 340. This couple of homers have really come in the last few ball games.
Though they're from different high schools, she and Citron from the same town.
Gotcha. She pulls this one. It's foul outside of third. No effort down there.
Not going to be.
So you're working tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
All weekend.
Yeah, I'm working right up through Saturday.
No balls and a strike.
Now you got tomorrow off, but you're coming back Saturday.
Coming back Saturday. That pitch is driven into deep left center, but it will be caught by the center fielder Case.
She gave it a ride.
Round number 2. Yeah, you mentioned she's got some pop in that bat.
She does.
She got under it just a bit. Here's Ava Wilson. 0 for 2. This is very similar to a lot of the BC games. Very tightly contested.
Yes.
Coming in, they have played 20 games that have been decided by 2 runs or fewer. They are 11-9 are the Eagles in those ball games.
Those are the kind that make a coach old. Either way, win or lose.
This team plays really good defense, this Eagle Ball Club.
They are a very well coached team as well. They know how to play.
2 balls and no strikes. Two outs, base is empty, bottom of the 6th. And there's another fly ball. This one to deep left center. It will be Hines. Step or 2 on the track. So the Tigers go 1-2-3 at the bottom of the
on the wrist.
Yeah, on the wrist.
Got her on the right wrist.
It's not the way you want to start this inning, having one of your best hitters hit by a pitch.
No, it's not.
But it is a base runner.
Yeah, and I can promise you
she's going to come out.
I can promise you that's not what Citron wanted.
No. So it looks like BC will, so number 7, and that is Tavy Borders.
Yes.
Tavy Borders.
She's 5 out of 6 in stolen bases. Has not had an at bat this year, but has scored 3 runs.
So she will run at first base. So the leadoff hitter is aboard to start the 7th inning for BC. They trail it by 4, so they need some base runners. And here's Martinez, who has struck out and grounded out. Freshman out of Alvin, Texas. Trying to find a way to get aboard and keep this ball game alive. The pitch. And That is in there. Fast strike by Cintron.
No action in the Clemson bullpen, so for right now, it's Cintron's game.
Pitch is popped up. It will be the third baseman, Brown. One away. So a big first out. Here's Espinoza.
You always love getting that first out in the last inning.
Espinoza lined a single to center her last time.
Of course, you also enjoy the second and third outs.
Especially with this 4-run lead in the seventh, right?
Yes.
This one is popped up into shallow right. Pipkins comes on, makes the catch, 2 down. So the leadoff hit by pitch, and then 3 pitches later, BC is down to their final out.
Yes.
And here's Scouten, the first baseman. Bounces in there. 1 ball and no strikes. Macy Cintron trying to close it out and give Clemson their 15th league win. Grounded to short. That will do it. Collins throws out Scouten, and the Clemson Tigers very businesslike tonight as they knock off BC in the first of 3 this weekend. Coach, your final thoughts on the 6-2 win?
Well, I think, like you said, it was very businesslike. This time of year, it's all about racking up wins in the conference, getting yourself in a good position. And the Clemson Tigers certainly did that tonight. They had great balance, played very good defense, got just enough pitching, and they swung the bats very well.
So the Tigers improved to 36-11 overall. They've won 7 in a row, 12 out of 13. Cintron